Hello, everybody, and welcome to the third episode of the 501st podcast. I'm joined by my one and only co-host, Mr. Adam Jedi Master Brogan. How are we? How are we today? I say how are we like we've not spoke like 20 minutes ago at work. So we're recording this after work today, so energies might be a bit lower today. But we wanted to do it today because obviously we normally record on a Friday. And Antman was obviously out Friday. So what's the point in having a movie/TV/game podcast when fucking you're not even going to do Antman? It makes no sense. So it's what we're going to have to do from now on. Some weeks we're just going to have to do one on a Sunday and get it, and I'm just going to have to do the editing straight after we finished it, blah, blah, blah. But it is what it is. It's out there for you people then. So let's leave Antman for now. And just talk about the other shit that we normally talk about. You know, it is what it is. Let's start with the Perla episode of this week. Absolute mate. Genuinely, this show. I think I said this a couple of weeks back, but this show, I feel like every week I'm like, is it going to decline? Is it going to decline?
It's keeps inclining every episode. It's constant.
I'm like, it's got to decline in quality at some point, but it just gets better every week.
Yeah, it's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
So we're talking about like this week's Last of Us. Like, I genuinely didn't think this show would be as good as it, and it still baffles my mind every Monday when I watch it.
Yeah, like especially, like I say, especially this last one for me. I think this is definitely up there so far for me personally. It's between this one and the one where there wasn't barely any action. It was the guy from Parks and Recreation. I can never Bill and
Bob and Frank, or Bill and Frank. That's it.
Bill and Frank, I think it is. Yeah, like that one. And obviously last week for me at the minute, my two favorite episodes. Like I just can't pick which one, so they're gonna have to both go to the top at the minute for me personally. But yeah,
I think I preferred this week's
constant.
Just for the simple fact that there were more action in it.
Yeah.
But apparently next week's is the iconic argument between Joel and Ellie. No, Joel and Ellie.
No, between Joel
so we've
and
got
Ellie.
to be close to his brother as well. We have.
Well, they're supposed to meet up with him, aren't they?
Well, you see, is it tomorrow? So I thought it'd be close because I'm pretty sure in the game that's pretty close to a meeting. I can't remember his, but
I have a feeling. Yeah, I have a feeling it'll either be tomorrow's episode or the week after, because obviously he meets his brother, and then I think it's after meeting his brother that the argument happens.
Right. Okay.
But okay. I'm not 1,000% sure, to be brutally honest.
I'm curious now as to how he fits into the game. Did you know as well the guy? So you know the guy with the beard.
Yes.
In last week's episode.
Yep.
He plays Joel's brother in the game.
Oh my god!
He's the voice of Joel's brother in the game.
Oh, sick!
Yeah,
I did not realize that.
I saw that on the internet.
Good.
I saw that on the internet. I think the other day. So, but I noticed. So someone was saying a lot of the voice characters have had actual roles in the show, just as other characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, which is pretty cool of them to do. Do you know what I mean? Because let's be honest, it's like it wouldn't be as big without the game. Do you know what I mean? So you have to
exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's nice of them to do that as well, because it's not very often that you get that, like where you get the people from the game actually in the actual show - movie, whichever it is.
No, I agree.
Which is, like I say, it's really nice for them to actually introduce them to the film.
So where are we? Wait, was that episode 5 that we just had?
I believe so.
So I feel like we're about. I feel like there's going to be 12 episodes. I'm not too sure. I think it ends on the 13th of March. So 1, 2, 3. So it looks like there's going to be 9 episodes.
Okay.
So I would say we're just over the halfway point now. So what?
Yeah.
Because now thinking about that, the halfway point, we've not actually seen that much. There's a lot to come in 4 episodes.
I seem to feel that if they do a season 2 to it, I think they're gonna try and not stretch it out so that there's like lack of detail, but I think they're gonna stretch it so that it can be like we have 9 episodes for season 1, and then we're gonna have like 12 maybe on season 2, maybe 14, so then they can then obviously put more detail into obviously other loops between obviously part 1 and part 2, because there's the little DLC on the video game where Ellie gets introduced to that last, and obviously I haven't played that DLC, so I don't know what the actual story is behind it.
I
So
don't think they're going to add DLC to it. I don't think the DLC matters that much personally. I think it'd be stupid to add DLC. I don't know. I don't feel like a lot of people actually played the DLC
well, again,
personally.
like I say, I never played it because I didn't see the point in playing it because I didn't see it was a big thing.
Yeah.
So again, I suppose it just depends really where they want to go with it.
I mean, they've said that season 2 is going to follow part 2 of the game, so we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. I don't think it can go.
Yeah.
It can't get any worse, put it that way. And it's got a
No.
long way to go to get bad, in my opinion. So, but yeah,
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'm loving Last of Us. There's not been a bad episode up to yet. So yeah, full on. I wouldn't say 10 out of 10 because 10 out of 10 is near perfection. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah.
8, 9 out of 10s is,
Oh,
well
yeah,
done.
100%,
Well done to
100%,
HBO.
yeah.
Movies and TV, well, video game TV movies need to take note and literally.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I
Easily.
mean? So
This is by far the best adaptation we've ever had, in my
oh,
opinion.
100%, 100%.
Like,
The casting is
casting and
incredible.
everything. Yeah.
I know a lot of people don't like the casting of Ellie, the bird from Game of
Like,
Thrones, but I think she's perfect.
she's doing such a good job. Like, her attitude and everything. Like, at the end of the day, as long as she gets what we felt when we were playing the game, it shouldn't make a blind bit of difference, really, in my opinion. Like,
No.
she's giving the exact same attitude that Ellie had throughout the game. You know, same with Pedro, with Joel. Everyone is doing such a phenomenal job, in my honest opinion, that I think that if you're complaining about casting, then
Yeah,
you shouldn't watch.
no.
Don't watch the show.
Just don't watch it in general.
Like,
Yeah, I agree.
yeah,
with
exactly.
That. I agree
It
with
just
that.
doesn't make any sense.
So
I don't agree with
this
it.
is a spoiler part. So if you don't want to hear what actually happens in last week's episode, if you've not watched it, go watch it, then come back. Like literally, stop watching now.
100%.
But the kid. So here we go. So the kid, the deaf kid.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Absolutely fucking incredible.
Mate,
like
he was so good.
Stellar.
So good.
And I did not see that happening at the end. I genuinely thought that both of them were going to just they were going to mix it up and both of them were going to travel with Joel and Ellie. And then my man fucking starts going savage. And then when his brother just pops his sending head out, like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like,
that threw me off.
Threw me for sevens.
I didn't expect it, genuinely.
Proper threw me for sevens. Like,
as soon as... Go on.
But I would just say bravo to directors for that, because
incredible.
mate, absolutely amazing. Incredible. Really enjoyed it. I did. Like, does that happen in the game? I can't remember if that even happens in game.
No, I don't think it does. I think that's just an added bit that they put in, which if it was, phenomenal.
Yeah, like
the actor. There's no other question about it, really.
The actor for that kid, though, fucking like, I think he's deaf in real life as well.
He is, yeah. He is. I saw an interview the other day, and he was signing all the way through it,
which is cool as fuck. Like, but that's
incredible.
2 now, because we had the deaf bird in. I'm pretty sure the bird from Hawkeye.
Yes,
Echo. I think she's deaf as well.
Echo, yeah.
I like that people are now starting to get like. I like that these directors and studios are actually seeing that there's talent in these people, and that it's just a disability. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't stop you from being
just like
as good as anybody else. Because like the bird from Hawkeye, Echo, I fucking loved her in Echo. I thought she was solid, and then this
phenomenal.
And then this kid in this last week's episode, solid as well. One person I don't like, and it's nothing to do with acting or chops or anything like that. The leader of the bird in Last of Us. What I can't remember her name. Is it like Caroline or something?
Yeah, the Resistance.
Yeah, mate, I fucking hate. But that shows you how good of an actor she is. That literally, as soon as I saw her face in the week before, I fucking hate you.
I get that exact feeling.
Yeah, I genuinely don't like her, but
that goes to show how well though the villain has been written.
The casting of it, yeah,
perfect,
perfection, and that again, it shows you the attention to not attention to detail, but the thought process behind the casting. They've proper thought about the casting for people and things like that. Not just gone, we'll get big stars, because you can chuck money at anything. Do you know what I mean? But if it's not right, it's not right. So, but yeah,
Exactly.
I I hope Last of Us carries on, and I hope season 2 becomes as good as it is. The thing is, though, I think we need more games before we get more TV, and now I want more games before we get TV, and I'm not too bothered about the games. I only want games because I want more of the show, because I think the show is personally better than the game, in my opinion. Up to you.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it, but I enjoy TV, so that just be the reason.
Yeah, I think I prefer to watch TV. Right, if I'm gaming, obviously I love gaming, but multiplayer gaming for me is the one. Do you know what I mean? So, on more TV news, Rebels. I mean, it were a bit. There's not much to talk about Rebels this week, but there is stuff to talk. Not Rebels. Why am I on about Rebels? Bad Batch.
Yeah, Bad Batch.
Bad Batch. Rebels. You'll know why I said Rebels. I know why I said Rebels. Once we've spoke about Bad Batch, we'll get into what we've heard about Rebels, which is not Rebels, but you'll see. I'm just going on a fucking tangent. I'm tired. I'm hungry, and I want to go to sleep. But you guys want a podcast, so I'm delivering you a podcast with my boy Adam. But Bad Batch, this week we're a bit. Again, I feel like these last couple of episodes have just been episodes. It's character building towards Echo plus another character. Because obviously through season 1 it was a lot of Echo and Hunter, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas this season, these last couple of episodes, it seems to have been Echo and Wrecker, Echo and Fives, fucking hell, Echo and Tech last night. Do you know what I mean? So it not last night, Wednesday. My fucking brain is frazzled, bruv. But it just seems like they're making, you know, they're building out the relationships between Echo and the rest of the crew. But it was a good episode. I actually enjoyed this one more than I did the at the last 3. I think this has been my favourite.
Did you mean Omega, by the way?
Did I say? Who did I say?
Tech. No, Echo. You were saying Echo, and I was like, I'm sure he's left.
Right, that's the end of the podcast. I'll see you later. Fucking hell. Omega and the rest of the Bad Batch, let's say. It seems to just be character, like, it's just putting them together, making them bond with each other and giving them that little bit of je ne sais quoi. I mean, I enjoyed this week's more, like I say, more than. What did you reckon? I mean, you're big into Bad Batch. So I'm on the board with it.
My opinion of it at the minute is it's doing my God honest opinion is that I think each episode is getting better and better. Like, don't get me wrong, my favorite episode is obviously I think it was last week's when Echo was leaving, just because it was it was a two-parter.
Yeah.
It really hit home for me, like proper. And then this one it hit home, but it wasn't as strong as that one. But again, it was that character building behind Omega and Tech. Like, we got a lot of it, and like we haven't really seen Tech and Omega have like an actual episode for them.
You don't really see them converse either, do you? They don't really.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, the others were there and everything. It's like Hunter, Wrecker, obviously Tech and Omega. And it was obviously their first mission without Echo, and you could really see how hard it had hit Omega, really bad.
Kind of started feeling for her a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I did as well. Like, this is like emotion-wise with Omega, I haven't really been like fully there, which I can understand when people are, but for me, it's just not a character that I feel yet, because it might change later, like further down the line. But it's not a character I'm feeling like. It's not sorry for, so to speak, but like have an actual like emotional connection with them.
Yeah, you know, season one for me, you didn't feel like. So what happened to where you were like, oh, I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I think that was just one of those, because of the fact they had to introduce her in a way that was very slow. No, maybe not slow, but they had to introduce her to us, so they had to slowly drip feed her to us, so that we'd slowly get, like, we've got such an attachment to like all the clones and stuff like that. Like, they've had to slowly introduce those characters to us for us to get that attachment, and I think that's what they're trying to do with Omega, which I get. But again, I was saying that connection between Tech and Omega in that last episode were absolutely phenomenal. It was brilliantly done, And I'll tell you what, again, is it Kind of Brothers? Oh,
I've just refreshed your camera, mate. You were lagging
uh,
a little bit. That's all. Carry
uh,
on. Carry on.
yeah, the Kind of Brothers basically absolutely hit it out the park for the music. Absolutely
Oh,
smashed
the
it, in my
music was
opinion.
incredible. The score was
The music
incredible.
every time, like the last last season and obviously this season so far, is the music's just been on point every time, like
Yeah.
not hit a beat.
No, yeah, I
It's
would
just
agree.
incredible.
Talking of music and Star Wars, Ludwig's not doing season 3 of Mando, is he?
He's not. No, he. So what I've heard is that it's going to be the guy who did Book of Boba Fett.
Okay,
So
I like the Book of Boba Fett
yeah,
music.
I
Yeah,
liked it. I mean, I like what they did with it 'cause it was like blah blah blah. You could hear Boba Fett in the
yeah,
music.
it's got that man, yeah, it's got that, and it's got that Mando vibe to it as well. Yeah, I'm all
Yeah,
right with
exactly.
that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I love Ludwig though. The Mando theme for me is
He is
fucking
so good,
perfection.
so good. I
It
mean, I'm
is.
disappointed he's not doing it, but
I don't
again,
understand
I'm
why you
just
wouldn't want to do it personally, but I mean that's a whole other thing. But yeah, Bad Batch. I would give this week's episode probably out of 10, a 5. It were okay. I want some development. I want something to happen now. Do you know what I mean? It seems like we're just waiting on
yeah,
filler episode after filler episode after filler episode. And next week's episode, I don't think it's going to be much different because they're still trapped on that island. I mean,
yeah.
we've not seen fucking thingy for like, what's his name? Sniper Boy
Crosshair.
Crosshair for like 4 episodes, which is, we haven't seen him
Yeah,
since the
I
Cody
think
episode.
I think we'll end up seeing him. I think it'll either be next week's or the week after next.
Yeah. Well, I hope
But
so.
again,
I hope so. Staying on Star Wars instead of going away and then coming back to Star Wars. So let's start with the smaller one first. So Bespin put out Bespin Bulletin. I don't know if obviously Adam, whoever's listening, if you want to know Star Wars news, obviously there's a guy on the internet and he leaks information. I say leak, but he puts information out there. He's got inside sources, and he is 99% of the time
yeah,
right.
very sound.
And he put out an article the other day about Andor season 2 filming on Naboo, which I mentioned to you the other day. Nothing to do with that, but that
Yep.
bird from Andor season 1 being
A relation
a relation to Padme, which now would make sense. But Ant's also, so Ant is a friend of ours, and he's also said something to me that I kept away from you earlier on. But apparently, that rumours are that bird that I was on about is actually an ISB agent.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
So
So.
I don't know where it's going now because
Oh.
you know, when you've got a theory in your head and you're like, it
Oh.
all makes sense, and then someone throws a spanner, it
Oh.
works. So obviously the
Oh
theory
no.
being, so my theory was I can't remember her name. Is it? What's the guy's name? Cyrix or whatever his name is.
From Andor.
From Andor, the old guy. I can't remember his name. Oh, what's his name? But anyway, everybody knows what I mean. The old guy who's the leader of the, like, this whole resistance thing. His assistant, I assumed that she was going to be, well, not me. I read something online that she was going to be related to Padme. But then, obviously, there's also rumours that she's an ISB agent, which would chuck things on its head massively. And I think that's more likely than her being something to do with Padme. You know, Luthen. That's it. Where did I get Scythen from? Scythen. I don't know. Luthen, Scythen, kind of. But I think Andor is the show that would do something like her being an ISB agent. I do.
Yeah. Are you about his secretary woman?
His secretary, his assistant, yeah.
Oh. I mean, yeah, I can see that. But also, if I don't know if I like that, actually, thinking about it, because she's so close to obviously what he's doing. She knows what he's doing, like, all the time. So surely they would have been in on all the missions that you were getting up to.
She would, but she'd be probably waiting for the bigger picture. It makes sense, but we'll see. But
True.
the bigger we're going back to Naboo. We get to see Naboo again. Do you think?
can't-
Do you think we're gonna see? So you know the comic book where it goes through the streets and Jar Jar is a clown nowadays. Do you think they're gonna put that in
yeah.
there?
I don't know.
I hope they do and just ruin Jar Jar forever. They just go, he's
think
dead.
we will. I
And
think we will see some
finally,
Gungans.
put this fucking Sith Jar Jar shit to bed.
Oh
It's
my
never
god!
gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's the stupidest idea that's ever come across. Shut up, Star Wars fans. Fucking hell, Sith Jar Jar. No, stupidest thing I've ever heard. Absolute ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't agree with it. I mean, I understand how people got that even to be in a thing,
But
but
I'm
oh
cool.
well.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Naboo again. I am. It'd be cool because
1,000.
obviously you never heard anything of it ever since, like you never seen it again since. Obviously you've been there in Clone Wars and what have you, but live action it'd be
Completely
cool.
different though, isn't
Yeah, it could be cool to see Naboo again. So in
Oh, yeah.
I'm not gonna go to the big one yet. Still, so Acolyte as well. There's been news leaked on Acolyte. This one again is weird. So apparently the obviously it's all perspective of the Sith side, and it's set in the High Republic era towards the end. But apparently the Sith have all infiltrated the Jedi Order already. Now I don't know how I feel about this because there's this, I was talking to you about this at work today. I couldn't wait.
Yeah.
There's a certain line in Phantom Menace that states the Sith have not been seen for 1,000 years. So did we just forget about this High Republic part? Do you know what I mean? Before anyone says, "Oh, the High Republic," the end of the High Republic and the beginning of the New Republic is not 1,000 years. That's all I'm going to say. Because the way you logically have to look at it, Yoda is alive in the High Republic comics at the moment, which is mid High Republic, I would say, or the peak of it.
I think, yeah.
So Yoda's alive there, and then in Return at Jedi, Yoda's like 600 and odd, something like that. I don't know the exact age. So Yoda's not even 1,000 years old. So we can guarantee that it's not been 1,000 years since the Sith were last seen, because they fucking infiltrated Jedi Order not fucking 10 years ago. Because the Acolyte is set, literally, it's at the end of the High Republic. It's like kind of the transition of the High Republic to the New Republic.
So my train, like obviously, like I said at work today, my train of thought is that they could have might have not been seen, because obviously they couldn't sense it when Palpatine was a Sith, and look how close he is.
Yeah, but they've got to. So I get what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying, but so how do we have? So we obviously they fight the Sith. Yeah, they're gonna have to do some kind of fighting with the Sith. Yeah, but the Jedi clearly win because they go into the next New Republic and they have the old Jedi Order and what have you.
Yeah.
So you're telling me they just all the Jedi that fight the Sith die and then they just go, oh, hang on, we're gonna go. Do you know what I mean? There's not one Jedi that survives. It's just a bit.
I get where you're coming from, mate. Yeah.
Unless they go down a route of they're not Sith Lords, if that makes sense.
So essentially, how I think they're going to do it is I think they're going to do it on, you know, how the old Republic era. I know again it's different era, but you know this first cinematic trailer where they infiltrate, where LA-80 comes flying in and it crashes into the temple, and there's all those red lightsabers that all just light up, and it's all this like the Sith, the acolytes basically.
Yeah, Dark Jedi. I think that's the way they're going to go down.
I genuinely think that's the route that they'll use, and then they'll say that Palpatine was the next big Sith. To then be obviously unveiled.
Because the rule of two is about by that point as well, so I would imagine they'll go down the dark.
That's the route that they'll go down, I reckon.
They'll go down some kind of, because I mean, technically, if you want to play on a technicality, the Sith, Inquisitors are Siths. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But they call them Inquisitors to get around the rules, so they'll just call them something different. We'll accept it as. Because I mean, what's the difference between an Inquisitor and Vader? Apart from power levels, do you know what I mean? They use a lightsaber, they use the Force, and they're bad.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If they were good, you'd call them Jedi. Do you know what I mean? So there's a very fine line. They've just gone, well, you can only have two Sith, so we'll call you an Inquisitor. Do you get what I mean? So I get it. They'll just use, which is it's lazy writing in my opinion, but it's a way round stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Third thing, not just what you, still not yet, still not dropping it, still not dropping
Dude.
it. Skeleton Crew as well. So apparently, Skeleton Crew people are not getting along on this fucking show, and it is going tits up.
So I've literally, before we started this, I was going through there's someone I use on my Twitch when I'm doing my stuff on Twitch, called the Direct, and apparently a few weeks ago I'd read basically a lot of, not creative clashes so to speak, but the overworking people, and the funny enough that they're not overworking at the minute is the Ahsoka series. So it's like Skeleton Crew and obviously what's that? Just been talking about it. Acolyte.
Yeah.
They're the two that have been like overworked. So
I don't get this whole overworked thing. You're an actor.
Yeah, they don't need to.
It's not like you work in a fucking lumber mill or something like that.
So
you go fucking sit in your fucking trailer all day, eat some shit, and then someone goes,
just
"You're up."
It's everyone's.
Everybody, so the makeup and stuff like that, I get. But if it's
everyone is getting overworked.
But what I've heard, it's the cast that are being the ones that are being the dickheads, and I'm just like, bruv, you fucking got.
They don't need to be.
You're on set of a Star Wars TV show. Get over it. Fucking get acting.
That was me. I'd want to be overworked.
I'd be fucking hyped, bro.
I'd be buzzed every day if that was the case. I think I'd be that hyped off of it that my energy levels wouldn't matter. You could overwork me and I'd still be the same energy that I would have on day one.
Yeah, 100%.
Full of hype and
excitement. I'm on a Star Wars. So Ant was saying today, so Ant, again, our friend, his mate, there's a bloke that works at Cineworld near us, and he's working on set of Andor at the moment. He's a costume designer. And he messaged Ant and went, so how's your shit going? He's like, well, I'm not on set of Andor, is it? So could be better. And I just started pissing my sense. So, right, but that were only a little one. We'll get into the juicer now. This is the juicer. This, oh my god. So, in Ahsoka, which, may I add, is my... Ahsoka is probably... She teeters on my favourite Jedi. If she's not first, she's second. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and she teeters to going first a lot. She does. Yeah. So on Ahsoka, I just thought, it's Rebels Season 4, but live action, which I'm 100% for, the world between worlds, blah, 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 blah. But then this news comes out that there is a fight scene between Ahsoka and Anakin on Mustafar. So instead of it being Obi-Wan, they go to World Between Worlds, and it's an alternate fight, and it's Ahsoka versus Anakin instead. Fuck me, show me that. I literally take all my bank balance.
Yes, please.
Literally. Oh my fucking god. So I never thought about it. I never thought about this. Like I said to you earlier on, I just thought Rebels Season 4. Mando, can you stop, please, mate? That's my dog introducing himself. I just thought Rebels Season 4, it's going to be fucking sick, blah, 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 blah. Never thought, Anakin's in this show.
So my opinion is, well, not my opinion, my thought of process, when I obviously first saw the leaked trailer from last year's celebration for Ahsoka, obviously on that little snippet, you see the world between worlds little symbol on the floor. So you straight away knew we were going to delve into something to do with it. God knows what, but you were going to get something. Now, guaranteed, obviously, we weren't necessarily going to have like an Anakin and Ahsoka thing and whatnot. I would have, like you said, expected to have gone down the route of just jumping straight to getting Ezra and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, straight up, I would have been happy as pigs in muck with that, happy as out. But saying that we're getting an Anakin v Ahsoka on Chuffin Mustafa, are we gonna get that same like a similar dialect from when we saw Anakin and Obi-Wan on Revenge of the Sith? Like, yo, if the
Mate,
dialect is anything like that,
Ahsoka
I
going,
will
"You were my brother, Anakin. I loved
scream.
you, mate." I can't.
No,
But I
dude,
can't do it. I
like,
can't do it.
no, this is not.
So talking of Ahsoka, do you think? I don't think Ezra's in this show as much as people. This is why I
I
think
think we're gonna get a little bit of him, and
I
that's
think
it.
he's at I think he's at the end, and then he's features in season 2 of it, or he's in the end, and then you get an Ezra show.
I say it's more than likely the second one.
I don't
More
think people are expecting Ezra, and I think he'll show up in Ahsoka, but I think it's going to be the big Luke Skywalker kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Where it's the last episode, at the very last minute when he's needed, that's when he's going to appear. I don't think we're going to get him all the way through the show. It's going to be a show about finding Ezra, and then he turns up at the last minute, and then he either becomes in Ahsoka season 2, like I say, or he gets his own show. Which I would like him to get his own show, and then that's when you introduce Cal Kestis into the universe, and have them two, because they're characters that are kind of like, they're like Jedi that are on the side, if that makes sense. It makes more sense to use them together and build them at the same time, like have the adventures of Ezra and Cal. Be sick.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But saying 100%. That, I genuinely think they should have brought Cal into Obi-Wan.
When they revealed that the Jedi that was going after him, I was expecting to be Cal or someone.
Yeah.
But again, it weren't. I mean, I was happy with it no matter what anyway. But it would have been an easy way of getting.
You know what would have been a cool way to put Cal into it, and then you don't have to say anything until you just figure out what to do with him down the line. The scene in book
had him on that wall,
or just in the Book of Boba Fett. You know, when Ahsoka's with Luke, you just have Cal there. He don't really say anything. You don't give no fucking reason as to why he's there, but you know that that's Cal Kestis as Star Wars fans, and that he's a Jedi. So, because he's dressed as a Jedi, so people that have not played the game know he's a Jedi because he's dressed as a Jedi, and just assume, oh, there's another Jedi there. Who's that? Fans of Cal Kestis and Jedi Fallen Order be like, fucking hell, it's Cal, but you literally don't. You just don't. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
And then you've established that he's alive at this point, and that you can do something with him down the line. So, but we don't know what happens in the game. We don't know that in Jedi Survivor he may not survive.
True. So before we move on, jump into your Ezra theory. Yeah. I think that what will happen is on that fight scene. I think what's going to happen is exactly what when Ezra last entered World Between Worlds, and I think he's going to pull Ahsoka out before Vader kills her, and obviously that stops him.
Yeah.
And then they can run off. It's the same as I think it's like the third to last episode of the last season of Rebels. I think he'll pull her out, and then that'll be it. Then they'll get out, and then it'll stop.
I like the World Between Worlds stuff, mate. Again,
it's a very good thing to use.
Like, again, though, so like Ant said earlier on, though, it is very cheap. It's a cheap way of. It's like, oh, Mace Windu's dead. Let's go and have a chat with Mace Windu. We'll just go through World Between Worlds. Do you know what I mean? It's very. But if used like, again, I keep going to Ant, but like he said earlier on, if used correctly. It can be done really well, so we'll see, and I can't wait for it to be introduced. I hope we go down a route of using it properly, unlike certain franchises recently using multiverses, and because everyone seems to be doing it. Do you know what I mean? Everyone seems to be doing it, and just chucking shit at it, just going. Because it's such a cheap way of going. Like Marvel could literally just go. Oh, Robert Downey Jr. is back. He's Iron Man from 644. Do you know what I mean? It's such a cheap way of building up something like all the way to Endgame, and then the I am Iron Man and the snap, and then Literally,
You should do
you
it.
can just bring him back, and it don't
Yeah,
matter, and it just ruins
yeah,
that whole thing. So I hope
eh,
it's done correctly. I do.
yeah, exactly. Like you say, it ruins the whole emotional experience from
Yeah.
when you see it in Endgame and stuff like that. So, like you say, it needs to be done
But in
right.
Star Wars, I'd love to see you explore it. I
Yeah,
want, you
exactly.
know what we were
Yeah.
talking about the other day, where Anakin never kills Darth, never kills,
You use that as a way to
and
see it. Like,
you use it as a way to see it. So it's like a Star Wars what if, let's say, and
yeah, exactly.
fucking you
Yeah,
use the world between worlds. Do you know what I mean? That'd be fucking
yeah,
so cool. Like you just have Ahsoka just stood in the mirrors and she pops her head through, and Anakin actually kills
yeah.
Sidious
Yeah,
rather than fucking Maul. Do you know what I mean? And that's
exactly. Yeah,
the beginning of the episode is Ahsoka just like and do it in CG like like Bad Batch style, and Ahsoka just walks through a mirror one day and it's this playing through this time. It'd
yeah,
be pretty cool. It would, but
yeah. I agree with that.
the
100%.
no, learning what I've learned today about Ahsoka. So
Mate,
Ahsoka was here for me anyway. It's gone
he's
up. It's
he's top
shooted
tier,
up.
mate.
Yeah, it's
Like,
my most anticipated Star Wars content.
yeah,
Um,
especially if those leaks are true, then
yeah,
oh my god,
the
it
Taika
like
Waititi Star Wars film could be cool if done correctly. I hope it's more like
well,
Ragnarok than it is Love and Thunder. We'll
so
see.
obviously I think I've messaged you about it actually, but obviously we're gonna get announced the next
Yeah.
trilogy at Celebration. Now
So
that could be anybody, but I've heard
well,
that
no. So they've announced that there's a so if you go on Bespin Bulletin as well, they've announced that
yeah,
Taika Waititi's Star Wars film is still going ahead and it will be announced at
yeah.
Celebration. So
Oh, so it's Taika's trilogy that we're getting.
yeah.
Oh, okay, sweet, sweet, sweet. I didn't realize
So
that.
if you guys want to know, I'll leave the link to Bespin Bulletin down below because he is worth going and checking out if you're into Star Wars. He's worth going. He's worth going and checking. So yeah, go and check him out. He's got all the knowledge. But yeah, so moving on. Went to watch a film yesterday. You went on Friday.
Yes, I did.
Antman Quantummania. What did you think overall? In a
So
nutshell, what did you reckon to Antman Quantummania?
uh, it was good. I'd go and watch it again. Obviously, I went to go and watch it in 4DX, which I don't advise anyone doing on the first time watching.
I went to watch 4DX and I would advise the exact same. Felt like I got 12 rounds with Mike Tyson,
Yeah,
bruv.
you got shook about so much. It was just, I mean, don't get me wrong.
You couldn't
It was
even
probably
focus.
no, you couldn't see what was happening, and obviously that's our own fault.
Yeah,
Fair enough. So I am gonna probably watch it again at some point in standard, just so I can get a better view of it.
100%.
But apart from that, I would say it's definitely for me a solid 7 to 8 out of 10. Like
I really
I
enjoyed the
enjoyed
film.
it. I enjoyed it.
I think it's the best Marvel film we've had since Endgame, personally. And
Yeah,
I really like Doctor Strange.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
I like that actually. To be fair, yeah,
but
that's
I
a good
still
push.
think Ant-Man's better, personally. I think it uses the quantum realm perfect, and Kang is fucking incredible.
Mate,
I
Jonathan Majors,
John,
such a good fucking casting.
it's so
They
good,
could not
mate.
have made that any more perfect.
No, I
Like
agree.
seriously, he's so good at it.
Yeah, and
Like yeah, incredible.
Ant-Man does this thing where it does it like I don't know it were Peyton Reed, weren't it, that directed it.
Yes.
He seems to do this thing with Ant-Man perfect, where it has enough comedy to keep you chuckling and laughing, but it also feels serious at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with
Like
that.
the balance is there. Do you know what I mean? Whereas in like Love and Thunder, for instance, it just
Got a little bit
Taika
weight.
felt like he took it. It's like he didn't keep the same balance as Ragnarok. It's kind of like he went, "Oh, people loved Ragnarok. Let's chuck more at it." Whereas
Yeah.
Peyton Reed seems to have just kept a constant all the way through the three Ant-Man films. Like
Yeah.
I would say, two is probably the weakest of the three, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I'd probably agree with that to be fair.
and having MODOK back and whatnot. Obviously, these are spoilers again for Ant-Man. So if you've not seen it, I would click off, go and watch it, come back and listen to this because I don't want to spoil it for you. Because it does progress. I mean, people are saying that it doesn't progress the Marvel universe as much as they wanted to, and
I think it does. I think
I
it
think it
does.
does as well, and I think
Yeah.
the main problem is what people expect is they. I think people always forget that it took 10 years to get to Thanos.
Yeah,
Do you
which
know
you've
what
got
I
to think.
mean?
Yeah, you've got to look at it like the bigger picture. You've got to think, right? Okay, because we're gonna have like little villains through. I mean, not little, because Kang's not exactly a little villain,
No.
but like, he's a little villain compared to what I assume is gonna be like the next big Thanos. Like,
So apparently, he is the next Thanos for the next,
oh,
couple
okay,
of for the
okay,
next couple of movies. He is and he is probably as strong as Thanos. But apparently, the villains for this are Kang, and then the next big bad again is what's his name? Big fucking
Galactus.
Galactus. That's it. But you've got you remember he's going to be in
You've got to have that
the
build
next.
up.
He's got the new Avengers. So the new Avengers is Kang, and then the ones after that are Galactus. So you again, people have to people forget how long it took to get to Thanos, and we had two Avengers. Well, we had two Avengers films before we even got to Thanos. Do you know what I mean? That had,
Yeah,
may I add, I know the Infinity Stones were there and what have you, but by the time we get to the Galactus, you know, that phase, because remember what up until was it what film was it that announced that everything were the Infinity Stones? There was only theories that these were all Infinity. The things were only Infinity. You know, like the Loki's staff and the ether and stuff like that. That they were Infinity Stones, and then I think it were Guardians did it.
yeah, I'm sure.
Guardians was the one that went. These are actually Infinity. In fact, it weren't Guardians because they just shown you an actual
Yeah,
stone.
I think it were. Was it not the
It
collector that mentioned it?
no, he did, but he only showed you the one. He didn't show you the rest because you see the image of the Celestials. You don't actually see the other stones. Can't remember what film. No, it was fucking Age of Ultron. When they take
Yeah,
it
it was
out of Vision's
Ultron.
head.
Yeah, Ultron had showed you. Yeah,
They take it out of Vision's head. So do you know what I mean? You have to remember that there were
yeah,
only little sprinkles, and we probably have
yeah,
had them little sprinkles, but we've just not noticed them little sprinkles until we
yeah.
get further down the line. So I think people just need to. The problem is you've had Endgame now, and
And that's it.
everybody wants every film to be Endgame, and
Which
everything
you
gets
can't
hyped up
expect that.
way too much. Yeah, and every film
You
can't
can't
be
expect that.
Endgame.
You've got to
Like,
have a build to the end game.
yeah,
Like, no matter what you look at, you've got to have that build up because you can't just jump straight into something and expect it to
no,
be exactly the
no.
same. 'Cause it takes time.
It was prime
Yeah.
example was Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. You know, when
Oh,
it got announced and trailer come out and everyone were like, Deadpool's in this, there's a picture on here and there's Deadpool and Tom Hanks as Iron Man and fucking this and that, Daniel Radcliffe as Wolverine and this and that and this and that. Everybody's in Marvel. And then when they're not in it, you're
you'll get
disappointed. Whereas I was just like, mate, I got fucking the casting of fucking John, yeah, and I got the fucking. Do you know what I mean? If you don't go into that film without all this fucking expectation of Deadpool
yeah,
being in it, a new Iron Man, a new this, a new that, fucking everything, and just go.
yeah,
We got John Krasinski as Fantastic Four. It's the first time we'd ever seen a Fantastic Four in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We got
yeah.
Professor X from the X-Men
Which was
in the
in his
cinematic
yellow
universe.
chair. Can I just add? He's animated yellow chair.
Yeah, you got Black Bolt. I mean, I will not even talk about Inhumans and that bag of shit, but I mean, it's still cool. We
Yeah,
got Rambo as fucking Captain Marvel, which I'll be honest with you, I fucking hate Captain Marvel, the original, what's her name, Brie Larson, fucking hate her. So that were cool to see. And then Peggy Carter as Captain Britain or Captain
that's
America. Do you know what I mean? So it was cool to
yeah.
see. Like if you don't go in with them expectations, you're like, I was like, what the fuck? This is
Yeah,
insane.
yeah,
Do you know what I
exactly.
mean?
Yeah.
So just stop expecting way too much from Marvel films.
Yeah, you can't like we said, you can't expect it because like Endgame was such a big thing. Like we keep saying, it took them such a long time to get to that point. And you've got to expect that no matter what if you want it to be as good as that, you've got to expect it to take time because you've got to get character building, you've got to get universe building. You've got to give your villains a bit of a story. got to get there, and it's going to take your time. It's not going
Yeah,
to be a straight
you,
jump in with a click of a thing.
you can't just go, here's fucking Kang, let's have an Avengers fight.
Exactly, yeah. It just does. It won't work. There's
Remember,
not a chance.
Avengers aren't even a thing anymore. At this
No,
precise moment in time, who's left as an Avenger? There ain't no Cap, there ain't no fucking Iron Man.
no.
Cap's only just become Falcon again. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
it's all kind of disarray. I know the superheroes are around, but the Avengers are not really a thing at the moment. We
There's
still,
members, but that's it.
yeah, you've
Like,
got Antman that's like literally
yeah,
only one that's going, oh, I'm an Avenger. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean?
Well, that's the only person that we've heard so far mention it, like
Yeah.
get it brought up because of that reason. Like I say, because there's none around. He's the only one.
Talking
So
of
like,
Avengers, the
yeah,
Darren, at least I died as an Avenger.
mate.
I
Honestly,
were fucking. So if you've not seen,
I
again,
was
this is a
like,
spoiler, but fucking Modoc, mate, he has a save the day moment, and then he turns to. I don't know if you
hilarious.
all know. So obviously you've all seen it by now. But when he turns around and says, "Fucking, at least I died an Avenger," and it's fucking Paul Rudd's face, mate, when he's like, "Yeah, okay."
Didn't know what to say sort of moment.
So good, so good. That I so enjoyed Quantumania, and it's one of them. It kind of gave me that Marvel vibe that you got back in day, where it's just
Yeah,
fun, action, and it precedes a story at the same time.
yeah,
Like it feels to me one of them Marvel films, like Guardians One, that you can just watch over and over and over again. It's something that you can just put
yeah,
on.
exactly, yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I was
100%,
happy with it. I
100%.
genuinely enjoyed it. I did. They did
I,
such a good job with it. Kang, like I say, was incredible. The the quantum people. Bill, I didn't even think about. I didn't even talk about this. Fucking Bill Murray.
oh my god, yeah. Like I know when they said that he was getting cast, I was expecting him to
I
be like,
totally forgot, and he came on screen, mate. I'm like, oh, fuck off! No way, Bill Murray's here. Oh, fucking
like
so hyped.
he was such a good part, even though it was only very small. I
No, yeah,
enjoyed
I
what we
enjoyed
had
it.
of him.
Yeah,
Just to say that he's now been in the MCU and everything,
yeah.
he's pretty sick.
The scene, the coolest scene for me in the whole film, is at the end when he's like, "You talk to ants," and then all the ants come in, and fucking Hank Pym's
Oh
just
mate, that
walking
was,
through fucking thing, and all ants behind him.
you know what that reminded me of?
Go on.
So you know, again, clearly, as you know, I'm obsessed with stars and whatnot. So the old Republic cinematic
Yeah,
trailers
yeah,
where
yeah,
the
yeah. Where?
cowboys like slowly walking
Yeah.
through reminded me of that straight away. I was like, yo, that's sick. I know it wasn't aimed at all for that accreditation or whatever,
But
but it just gave me that reminder
so
of
there's
like,
a little inkling to that, which I noticed as well. Because when when they first jump on that fucking crazy, when they go to the Quantum Realm and Janet, what's fucking Wasp's actual name?
ah, hope, hope.
Hope and Hank all jump on the fucking animal
Oh,
flying, and
yes,
she says, "Jump on, Ant Man." That's what
yes.
she says to him, and then so that's like a pre-shadowing for later that he's actually the one. Because fucking what's his name, Paul Rudd, Scott's not talking to ants. He's not controlling any of them ants at all. He's got
Oh,
the Ant Man suit, but the OG Ant Man is
yeah.
Hank Pym. And when she says jump on Ant Man, I was like, that's fucking cool. And then he does that at end, and I'm like, yeah, mate, you do
So
talk to ants.
I'd actually also heard a little rumor the other day, funny enough, on again, believe it was Twitter, um, that apparently he's got one more movie left in him, and the only reason that he'd want to do one last movie is if he was able to put on the suit for Ant-Man.
I'm 100% down with that. 100%.
Like when I'd read that, I was like, "Yo, that makes so much sense. Why have we never seen him in the
Yeah,
suit anyway?"
I'm all
Like
down for that. I'm all
I
down for
want to
that.
see the guy in it, and I want to see him like do the freaking like jumping from small and then jumping and powing someone in the face. And it's sick seeing Michael Douglas do that. I'm like, yo,
I like seeing his daughter. I loved the scene, where they first see Modoc and he brings out his face, and
oh god,
they've mentioned in the film already that I was attacked in my room when I was 8 by a bumblebee. Yeah, they've already mentioned that scene in the film, and then he pulls his face out. And she's like, "Oh my god, it's the Bumblebee guy! It's the Bumblebee guy!" Like she's shitting us in a little bit. Like it just brings back some old childhood traumatic. I loved that scene. I loved MODOK. I know a lot of people hated MODOK. I know the CGI was dodgy, but I think personally it was supposed to be like that because in the film it looks dodgy. I know he's purple and what have you in the film, but it looks a bit shit in the cartoons and on the comics. It just looks a bit. I think it's done on purpose, personally.
Yeah, you'd mentioned this to me because I came in and I'd said to you that I wasn't fully feeling him, basically, and you'd said that it was meant to be like that, and then I thought,
I don't know if it is 100%, but I get the
but
vibe. That's the vibe I
it
get.
makes sense though, because if you look at everybody in the quantum realm, look at everyone, nobody is perfect in
No,
there, nobody.
no.
So in a way, that makes sense. Bearing in mind that obviously Darren got banished to the quantum
Yeah.
realm, so straight away he's gonna have been there for what a good
He's
while,
been in
a
there
good
what
while.
10 years, something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I,
So it's because it'll have messed him up. So of course it makes more sense that he looks what he looks like in Quantumania.
yeah. I,
Like there's no way around it now, mate.
MODOK for me was one of the best parts. Like some of the scenes with MODOK at first when
It's
he,
got good comedy
yeah,
value.
when he turns up and
Very
he's
good comedy
like,
value.
Darren? He's like, when he's talking to him, and he's
My
like,
name's
Darren,
not Darren, it's
Darren. And then he
Modoc.
goes, MODOK. And he's like, what? When he actually replies to him. And then when he's in cells, he's like, what's with the baby legs? It's so cool. I love him. And then at the end when he's like, my name is Darren.
Not Modoc. He
So
drives
cool.
through.
The only problem I did have is obviously there's all these Kangs. Yeah. I know how to defeat Kang. Just use ants because they seem to be super effective against him.
Yeah, 100%.
And as many as there is Darrens, as many as there is Kangs, there's plenty more ants. For every Kang in a multiverse, there's 10 billion ants in a multiverse. So, do you know what I mean? Just use the ants. And now that is the.
That is the go-to cure.
That is the go-to cure. And when I saw it, so the ants are clever. I love what they did with the ants in there. Like
That was very smart. I like that.
It was cool. It was good film. I can't grumble with the film at all. Like it did enough for me. It's got me hyped about Marvel stuff again. I was starting to get a bit dry with it all. And I don't, to be honest with you, I don't even know what's coming next from what is it? Secret Wars, the TV show. And then I'm pretty sure that's all we've got announced I'm pretty sure that's all we've got announced as Marvel stuff, really, isn't it?
Let me have a look.
And I mean, I know we've got Blade, Fantastic Four, stuff like that, but I can't remember half of the stuff that we've got announced. I know that Kevin Feige. Oh, Deadpool 3. Across the Spider-Verse is this year. Yeah, so fucking hell. What If Season 2. Secret Wars. Guardians 3. Echo. Loki Season 3. Oh, yeah, I'm just being an idiot. It fucking shown all this yesterday. It's shown you fucking Loki in cutscenes, didn't it? The Marvels. Ironheart. Agatha. Daredevil Born Again. Captain America New World Order. Thunderbolts. Blade, Fantastic Four, Avengers, Kang Dynasty, and then Avengers Secret Wars. So, yeah.
I just want. I tell you what, like going back to the whole MODOK thing. Like now we've got him introduced. Let's just get some more X-Men.
So what?
Just give me some, like Deadpool's the next. I think Deadpool's the next big one anyway, where we'll get some decent, obviously X-Men stuff. Because obviously,
I'd like to. I'm excited to see what they do with Deadpool and how they bring him into MCU. I really am. Honestly, I forgot most of this were coming. I did.
I did. Yeah. Ironheart, I completely forgot about.
I'm not too bothered about Ironheart. I'll be honest with you.
No.
The one that there's 2 on there that get me hyped. 3 actually. That's not for. That's not. Obviously, an Avengers film is always going to get you hyped, no matter what it is. It's an Avengers film, but I think for me, Blade, Captain America, and Daredevil, and then Thunderbolts are the ones that I'm looking forward to. Because you forget in the show at the same time that you've got all the secret, what's her name,
Secret Invasion.
well, no, what's the bird called that's fucking like running Shield now? Um, she's in Black Panther.
This one in Shield.
Yeah, what's her name?
Oh, her that's gonna do not
She's
God damn it, she
I
was.
can't remember her name.
She's doing Thunderbolts, isn't she?
Yeah,
She's
what's
the
her
head of
name?
Thunderbolts. Oh, I can't remember.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's something crazy
that-
a name, but yeah, you forget all that side stuff's going off. The stuff with Yelena and obviously Cap, Falcon. That's all going to play into the Secret Wars version of, I would imagine, of Avengers. So there's a lot to look forward to. I mean, there's so much that's been announced as well that I didn't even think of. Like, I forgot Nova. Nova's one that I've wanted to see from Marvel for fucking ages. Armor Wars, Marvel Zombies. There's so much coming. Vision's Quest.
Daredevil.
And then may I add the one, the only animated X-Men 97 continuation.
Give us that. I cannot wait to get that.
Yeah, I'm hyped for that. El Muerto, Madam. There's so much untitled Wakanda series, Spider-Man Freshman Year, Shang-Chi sequel. Like, I forgot Shang-Chi were even a thing. I've not even heard of him.
A Wakanda series, Wonder Man.
Bro, there's so much.
Vision Quest.
But yeah, so there's loads going. So all in all, I'm happy. I don't want to get my hype up and just say Marvel's back, blah. But I don't think they really went anywhere.
In the right direction.
Yeah, I don't think they really went anywhere. I'm not saying that the last films were terrible by any means. They just weren't.
They were just films, in my opinion, that you just can't watch again.
Yeah.
Like, once you're just like, meh.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I enjoyed where Quantumania took it, and it's got me a bit hyped for Marvel again. So we will wait to see for the Secret Invasion. I'm actually really hyped for that. I am. So we'll see where that takes us.
Samuel Jackson is obviously
there's Nick Fury and then War Machine's in it as well.
Emilia Clarke as what is she? Is she a Skrull?
No, it's not Emilia Clarke. Do you mean Kobe Smulders? The bird from How I Met Your Mother?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Kobe.
She's in it as well.
Kobe Smulders. Yeah.
Yeah, Emilia Clarke's in it as well.
I don't think she is. Stars Samuel Jackson, Ben Mendelsohn, Kobe Smulders, and Don Cheadle. If Emilia Clarke were in it, I'm pretty sure she'd be on that list.
I mean,
if not, they've done a dirty there.
Right, massively. I'm sure.
If she's not on that list of stars,
yes, she is.
They've done Marvel. Who's this website?
Episodes of it.
Who's this website? BGR, you have done Emilia Clarke dirty.
Olivia Colman, Christopher McDonald, Kingsley Ben Aldier. Obviously Martin Freeman's in it as Everett, K. Ross.
Proper done Emilia
Cheadle.
Clarke dirty there.
Yeah, Emilia Clarke's in it, but I don't know who she plays though.
Mad.
Obviously Ben Middleton is Talos, Kobe Smulders is Maria Hill.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm excited for where it goes. So that's almost been an hour. That goes so quick. The hour goes so quick. Yeah. It does.
It does.
It literally takes seconds. You're having fun. You're chatting some video. I didn't even get to chat video games. I think what I'm going to try and do is, I think an hour's too short for movies and video games. So once we get into some kind of groove, maybe start then doing a side podcast. Let us know what you'd like to see. If you'd like to see it, doing a side one with video games in there as well. And then maybe we'll try and chuck out like just a Star Wars one and things like that, maybe. But for time being, if you want us to talk about video games, just let us know what you think. Like maybe next week I've been playing Wild Hearts. I know Adam's been playing Hogwarts Legacy. So maybe next week we talk about video games on the main podcast. So that's where a lot of my time's being spent playing video games. There's not much, I'm more jumping off video games to watch the TV that I need to watch for the podcast, rather than normally I'd just be watching TV and films and blah 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 blah. Whereas at the moment I'm gaming a lot. So, but yeah, you can find us on our social medias in the description below. Remember to check out Best Buy Bulletin down there as well. Like I say, it's a lot of that information that we spoke about today is we got it from there. So, I don't want to feel like we're nicking the information or anything like that, using it as our own. We did find it from somewhere else. So yeah, go and check his website down, his Twitter, blah blah blah. It's all down below. My Twitter's iBalo, Twitch iBalo. Adam.
Mine is Sith Brogan at Sith with capital S _Brogan
On Twitter.
And my Twitch is Jedi Master Brogan.
Again, it'll all be down below. Remember, if you're on Spotify, leave a like. If you're on YouTube, drop a subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like, all that jazz. On Twitter, drop us a follow at the 501st Podcast. We tweet there daily and stuff like that. Let us know what you want to see. On the YouTube, we will be doing more reaction videos and things like that, so keep an eye out for stuff like that. There's just not many trailers dropping at the moment. There weren't too much from Super Bowl, to be perfectly honest with you. We should have done a flash, but it was 4 o'clock in the morning and we wanted to watch him, so I apologise. But from now on, we will be doing trailer reactions, I promise you. On that note, we will see you next week for the 4th episode. 4? Yeah, 4th episode of the 501st Podcast. I hope you all have a good week, and may the Force be with you.
Bye.